Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Breakfast Club session brought to you by Chosen Global, home of the Unplugged with Pam podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are joining us once again, welcome home. I remember when I first embarked upon entrepreneurship, I was looking forward to these type of morning mentorship calls, not only for the information I was going to receive, but for the inspiration I was going to receive. Garbage in is garbage out, and greatness in is greatness out. And how you start your day sets the tone for your day. So kudos to each and every single one of you guys that decided to start your morning off with some fire, with some positivity. I am fresh back in the States from my beautiful country of the Dominican Republic. Whippa. And in true Pamela Pacheco, Pam the Plug fashion, we got to talk about one of the most historic moments in life. And I know in my life, one of the most historic moments was a Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. And before you get your jammies in a bunch, because I know some of y'all are business up top and party at the bottom. Y'all working from home, or you're probably in your cars right now, or you're probably tuning in from your office, wherever you're from. Just know I'm not here to talk about anything else. However, I am here to talk about one of the things that, not only as a coach, as a believer, as an entrepreneur, as a purpose driven and legacy driven woman of God that I am, I had to honor one of the messages that he said, right? And of course, it was love, it was unity, it was diversity. But one of the things that he said at the very, very, very beginning, and you guys, if you follow me on social media, and if you're not, make sure you're following Pam the Plug across all social media platforms. I had to post that, right? The same night, because he said, you have to believe in yourself. Never, ever. He said his name, right? And he said, never ever. The reason that I am here performing at Super Bowl 60 is because never ever did I ever stop believing in myself. And neither should you. You are worth more than you think. Believe me. Let's just take a pause for that for 1 second, because that not only hit me as an Afro-Latina woman, proud immigrant to this beautiful country of the United States. However, that hit me on every level, because if there's anything that I always want us to know, that it's about our worth. It's about, yes, we've spoken recently about how faith and belief, is what builds entrepreneurship. And you have to have belief, right? And you have to have all of these things. And yes, you have to have faith, but make sure you are having faith in you. Make sure you are having faith in the one that is steering the ship. Make sure that when you're going after your dreams, you're going after all of these things, you are believing in you. Because yes, like Benito said, you are worth more than you think. And I remember just me being very transparent, because you guys know that's exactly the only way that I know how to give it up, right? Is there was a season in my life where I felt overqualified. I felt like I was overgiving. I felt like sometimes I was just over delivering. However, I was still undervaluing myself. And why is it that you think that we believe in others faster than we believe in ourselves? Is it socioeconomic backgrounds? Is it belief? Is it upbringing? Is it some type of trauma? Is it somebody somewhere along the line had the audacity to impose upon you, to impose upon me, their limiting beliefs, their failures, their setbacks, and projected them onto us? Because somebody somewhere along the line probably marked you, right? Or somebody, maybe it was just yourself. Why is it? I was having this conversation with a client not too long ago. I was like, why is it that you are quick to go above and beyond, and you cheer louder for your friends, for your peers, for your community, than for your own dreams? Than for your own dreams, than for the own dreams that not only will set you free, that will set your own children's free. Because why is it that we negotiate against ourselves before anyone else does. Why do you think that is? And I'll tell you, you don't have a skill problem, and neither do I. We have a belief problem. And I have more degrees than a thermometer. Okay. If you're brand new here, I went to school at Barry University in Miami. Shout out to Miami because I'm still here waiting for my layover flight. But I went to school right up the street at Barry University. I graduated, honors in my class, double major in business, political science, and then I had an MBA in international business and finance. I got more degrees than a thermometer. And so many people have degrees, have experience, have gifts, have a calling. They have a purpose, but we don't move because these are the things that we ask sometimes. How dare I? Who am I? What if I fail? Well, my dear, how about if you fly? What if people judge me? Guess what? They're already judging you. So what does it matter? And the reality is that sometimes what holds us back is us asking these questions of who am I? What if I fail? Other people's judgment. And y'all already know how I feel about other people's judgments and other people's opinions. But I think it's a lot to do with imposter syndrome. Sometimes you don't think that you're worthy, that you are deserving of all of the great things God has in store for you. Sometimes you think that because you made a mistake, that is going to define you forever. And I'm here to tell you, honey, it is not. It does not have any authority over you. It doesn't have any authority of who it is that you're becoming. But more than anything, it doesn't have any authority of the promises already spoken over your life, over who God said that you are. So if there's one thing that I am going to always, always, always not only challenge myself, but challenge us as a community, as the people that are out here up and at it. Some of y'all are tuning in from Hawaii. It is like 7 hours behind. I think it's like 2 in the morning over there. Some of you guys are tuning in from all over the world. Why? Because you said, you know what? I need to bet on me. Some of you are logging in right before you're going to go clock into work because that 9 to 5 is paying your bills right now. And you're working part time on your dreams and, full time on your career right now. But guess what? Eventually it's going to flip. But here's how it flips: it only flips if you flip the switch here. Success is a game of inches. It's not only you flipping the switch in your heart space, but it's also in your mindset. Your mindset is where your mind sits. And a lot of times, if we stay, y'all hear me say it all the time. If you whatever you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. Wherever attention goes, energy and emotion flows. Okay. So if we ever find ourselves in a space where, man, like I'm suffering right now from imposter syndrome, remember to ask yourself, who am I? Really and truly, when all of these titles and all of these things go away, guess what? You do deserve it. And if you don't believe anybody else has ever tell you, I'm going to be the one to tell you, okay? Clock it. Yes, I'm going to be the one to tell you. Believe in yourself because you are worth it. Like Benito said, you are worth more than you think. And I'm going to tell you why that hit me so hard as well. I've been in entrepreneurship over a dozen years. Yes, I know. I only look like I'm 20, y'all. I know. But I have played small before. I have waited to feel ready. I have, sometimes like not only circle my life, but depend on, oh, but what are other people are going to think? And what is this? And what is that? And I'm always brought back to not only my mom used to always tell me, shout out to Benny, all right, may she be resting with the angels, is you can do anything you put your mind to. With God, baby girl, you could do all things. And without him, apart from him, you can do absolutely nothing. And it's not to impose my faithful belief upon you, but that's what I believe in, and I'm here to talk. So you're tuned in. So you have to not only believe in you, but also sometimes it's realizing, like one of my favorite books, The Mountain is You, that self-sabotage is a protection mechanism because our brains, they're wired to protect us. So we avoid growth because that growth feels unsafe. Have you ever have you ever rode a bike before? I know I busted my behind riding a bike for the first time. And I was riding that bike and I had no knee pads on because I thought I was hurt from a little young girl's age. And I'm riding this and I fell so bad. I still got that scar on my knee. Okay, I done slid into more bases than I can count playing softball, and I ain't never get a scab like I did when I first rode that bike. And it hurt a little bit. Anybody ever rode a bike and fell and busted your behind? Yep, it hurt a little bit. But guess what you did? You went right back on it. Because as children, we have that childlike enthusiasm. And that's always what I wish upon myself and my friends. I'm like, we got to have that childlike enthusiasm that you could do anything. Like kids have no fear. It's funny, I was getting my hair done yesterday and the stylist, shout out to Margarita, her son Amir was there and her friend was there and they were like gonna go across the street and she's like, just be careful because he runs everywhere and she was like, just leave him here. Why? Because kids, they will go run in traffic because they think that they can go and stop the cars or that the cars are going to stop because they think that they're them. They have that level of belief. They have that level of faith in themselves that it is truly inspiring. And yes, the mountain is you because our nervous systems, sometimes they be more afraid of expansion than they are failure, to be honest. I'm more some that just is what happens at times because growth feels unsafe. But whenever you grow your comfort zone, you grow your wealth zone. And I know some of you are like, "Well, I'm not trying to be wealthy." That's okay. You don't have to be wealthy. But here's what I will tell you. Before you're ever wealthy in finances, you got to have a wealthy mindset. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that they feel the fear and we do it anyway. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. And you're going to do it over and over and over and over again. Success is a contact sport. Success loves reps, repetition over and over and over again. So whenever you think that, you have to catch yourself. And it's not saying that, oh, we're perfect. No, we're far from it. Let's be real. We're far from it. And it's not saying that I don't have those limiting beliefs sometimes, or I don't have imposter syndrome, or sometimes I don't procrastinate because I'm waiting to feel ready. But guess what I do? When that thought comes, I hold that thought captive and I switch it. I take that lie spoken over me, or I take that lie that I believe, and I remind myself and I infuse myself with the truth. And the truth is, we are worth it. The truth is, you are deserving. The truth is, you can do all things that you put your mind to. And it's important to understand this too. Your worth, our worth, ladies and gentlemen, it is not performance based. It is not. When we think about, I'm gonna speak to my fellas. I'm gonna speak to my fellas for a second. I love the sacred masculine. I'm going to tell you, if nobody's told you today, you are necessary. You are needed. Our households need more strong men. Our households need more strong leaders. Our households and our communities need more strong fathers. And we honor you, we respect you, and know that you are loved. You are needed. But so many of my brothers tie their worth to money. So many of our brothers tie their worth to status, to provision, to performance. And you are worth way more than that. You are valuable not because of what you're providing or the money that you're bringing or what your status is or how many likes or how many followers and all of these things. No, no, no. You're worth way more than you could ever imagine. And it has nothing to do with that. Same as my ladies. The divine feminine, it's interesting because last night I was with my childhood best friends and we were, doing dinner. And I have to make the most of my layover here, right? But we were doing dinner and we were talking about so many things. And one of them is that we were all taught to be strong. And a lot of us, that's what we learned, survival. We had to learn to be strong. And as women, we tie our worth to sometimes being chosen. We tie our worth sometimes to not only being chosen, we tie our worth sometimes to being needed, to being validated, to even being attractive. And worth, it doesn't depend on any of that things. Your worth is already inherent. What does that mean? That you are born with it? Born with it, like that song says. Y'all, sorry, y'all. I'm on one this morning. But you're born with it. It's something already in you. Your worth is in you. Why Bad Bunny was like, you are worth more than you think? Because you are worthy before any of the accolades, before the bank accounts, before somebody chose you, before somebody said I needed you, before somebody validated you, before somebody said you were attractive, before the status, before the money, before the provision, before the performance. Why? Because you are valuable before you produce. You are worthy even before we win. Ooh, let that sink in for a second. We're worthy even before we are winning. You are called because you are Godfident, like I said. But it's important to understand that we don't have to strive for what God already decided about us. He already said that we are worthy. My sisters, we are worth more than precious rubies. We are the apple of his eye. He loved us so, so, so much. And I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole, but if y'all want me to, you could DM me because I definitely would preach all day long. But I'm here to remind you, and we're going to make this call short today. Confidence, and that's why I say that Godfidence, because it doesn't come from accolades. It doesn't come from all my degrees. It doesn't come, it comes because of who he says I am. But it also, you need to understand that confidence is a decision. And when you decide, you kill off all other options. It's not a feeling, it's a decision. Just like you choose joy every day, just like you choose peace every day, confidence too. I'm going to tell you, it isn't loud. It's repetition though, over and over and over and over again. If you've never heard the book Becoming, or heard it or read it, I love to hear a lot of books as much as I read. Becoming Supernatural, you've probably heard me talk about it before. I love that it reminds us that our thoughts, it's what's creating neural pathways. Why? Because again, whatever we focus on the longest becomes the strongest. You are sending you If you consistently think I'm behind, guess where you are going to be, my dear sisters and brothers? Behind. I've been there. And the more that I was like, "Oh, I'm not ready." Guess what? I didn't feel ready and I ain't do nothing. Because procrastination is the assassination of your dreams, of your goals, of the life that you were called to live. The more that you think I'm not enough, guess what? You're not gonna be enough because that's what you're thinking. If you keep telling yourself you're not ready, you're never gonna ever be ready. And here's the reality that a lot of us, this is why what your thoughts of the neural pathways that it's creating is so important because your brain wires to confirm it. Our nervous system is what controls our body. It is supposed to keep us safe. It is supposed to protect us. So anytime you're doing something new, your body automatically tenses up because your brain is sending signals. It's like, no, 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 no. We got to protect. No, 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 no. And I'm gonna tell you that we have to stop. And it's interesting too because a shout out to my grandmother, Mama Elena. I know you guys, a lot of y'all follow me on social media, and I was translating all of the things. And one of the things that I was doing in the Dominican Republic, yes, I was celebrating her 92nd birthday. But my grandmother, as a lot of you know, got into a horrible fall of an accident last September. And she fractured her arm. Thank God the cast been off, like a month later. But now we're talking about 4 months later. And it's a blessing to be 92. And that's why I also give her grace. However, I'm also the granddaughter that's like, no, no, no. You told me faith without works is dead. You are stronger than you think, and you're letting the fear cripple you. And fear, as you've often heard, fear is a liar. Okay? Fear is false evidence appearing real. It forces you because your brain, again, is trying to protect you. It's going to tell you, forget everything and run, or it could tell you, face everything and rise. And not only are you choosing to rise, because remember, Godfidence, that confidence, whichever you want to call it, it's a it's a decision, right? So you got to choose, which am I going to let rule my day? Am I going to choose faith today? Am I going to choose fear today? And you got to make that decision over and over and over and over and over again. And I was reminding my grandmother of who her identity was. I said, listen, you are an overcomer. You can do all things. You are the matriarch of this family. You raised this. Like, I'm like speaking life over her. And she's getting so annoyed with me. And I'm like kissing her up, and I'm forcing her to just move her legs a little more. And y'all, I'm not forcing her to do, before you guys come at me, okay? I'm not forcing her to do like 30 laps and sprints and nothing like that. All I'm doing is making her do leg fluxes, right? Making her just move her legs. But the fear is crippling her so much, and she thinks she's gonna fall, that she doesn't want to move. And the reality is that identity precedes behavior. So, in anybody, whether you are 52, 92, 22, or 12 or 2, your identity precedes behavior. And that's why we're talking about, having that childlike enthusiasm that you think you could conquer the world. But when you think about, imagine if you rehearse your belief. Imagine when your body starts to align with that identity. Because when I tell you that identity precedes behavior, whatever you think, whoever you think you are, guess what? You are showing up as him or her every single day. So you don't become confident after success. You don't become confident after the money. You don't become confident after the goals, whether you got goals at work, whether you got goals at home, whether you got goals with your children, whether you got goals in life, in entrepreneurship. You don't become confident after. Oh, no, no, no. You act confident, and then the results will follow. you know, I remember one of my college professors in psychology, and he used to always tell me, you know what ACT stands for? Action cures trauma. And at that age, I was in my early 20s. I'm like, I ain't got no trauma. Lord knows I have some trauma. But I remember he was like, action cures trauma. And that's why you act confident, because you have to take action. We have to get out of this. Oh, what is they gonna think? What are they gonna think? Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I'm gonna play small. No, it's not the time. So we act confident, and then the results follow. Because the reality is, if we're being honest, where are you settling right now? Where are you settling right now? Are you undercharging? Because I know I was. I was just talking to one of my best friends. I said, I gave this client, I had a promotion going on, and I gave this client 30% off. And they are, some of y'all are like, man, 30% is not a lot. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because when people do not value your worth and what you are bringing to the table, like $1 off is too much. And you got to remind yourself. I had to remind myself. I said, I will never undercharge anybody ever again. Because not only because people do not appreciate it, but the value that I am bringing, it's like I don't get paid by the hour. I get paid by the value that I'm bringing to every millisecond. So ask yourself, where is it that you are settling? Are you undercharging? Sometimes, and I was so guilty of this, we're overgiving. Where my givers at? Oh, my generous, loving people. Yes. Oh man, I know. Trust me. But we give, and we're not filling our cup. We're not giving back to ourselves. And you got to be careful as givers, because the takers, they're gonna take every chance you get. So ask yourself, are you undercharging? Are you overgiving? Maybe you're shrinking to be accepted. This is where that playing small is like, oh well, maybe if I just don't say all of the things I know, or maybe if I don't if I don't go the extra mile, maybe they'll like me more. Maybe they'll accept me more. So because it's I'm not going to intimidate them. If my greatness intimidates you, that's not my problem, honey. That is your problem. That my spirit is irritating your demons. And you got to deal with that. You and God. That got nothing to do with me. Sometimes it's us staying in rooms that tolerate us instead of celebrating us, instead of valuing us. And I always like, if it's, y'all know the rule of thumb. If it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no for me. Sometimes it's the ceiling. Sometimes it's the ceiling that you're creating in your life. It's the ceiling in your life. If if you are in a place where the ceiling in your life isn't God, it's your self perception, because God created you to be limitless. So what is the ceiling? Remind yourself, it's not God, it's self perception. It's who you think you are. That's why Benita said, you are worth more than you think. If you think you all that, guess what? You all that and a bag of chips with the dip. You have to add yourself that. So you're like, okay, Pam, thank you, because you told me. I know, I get it. How do you start believing in you? Well, number one, it's auditing your language. You guys know I talk a lot about of our emotional triad of, because the very way of how we feel is determined by our body and the physiology and the very state we're moving our body, right? Our focus in our language. So number one is auditing your language. Stop saying I'm just this, or stop saying I'm trying. If you trying, you lying. We do things around here. Stop saying things like maybe one day. And I'm not saying that you're saying it, but if you are, páralo ya. Okay? Stop it. Gracias. Okay? Like, let's stop it. Stop the limiting belief. So, stopping first is auditing your language, because your words are powerful. There's power of life and death in your tongue. Number two, keep evidence. Anybody like receipts like me? Yes. I love having creating a highlight reel. I create a highlight reel of all of the greatest moments of my life from a child. It's funny, I was talking to my family and my girls. I was like, I got like 133,000 photos and over 30,000 videos on my phone. I know, it's ridiculous. Okay. And I got an iCloud, I got the terabyte, all that stuff. I don't want to upload it. But I create a highlight reel of I'm writing out wins, right? Where you're keeping evidence, testimonials, progress, survived seasons. Why? Because your brain needs receipts. You need receipts. You need evidentiary support. Like they need it in the court of law. When you raise your standard, it's everything. So, yes, out of your language, keep the evidence, because not only is it going to remind you of the wins, remind you of the testimonies, remind you of the progress of the survived seasons, but it's going to give you the receipts that you need in that time to get you over that hump. And last but certainly not least is to raise your standard. Raise the standard. If you wouldn't let your daughter accept it, why are you? If you wouldn't let your son accept it, why are you tolerating it? If you are telling, do not be that person that is telling you, oh, do as I do, do as I say, not as I do. No, 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 no. You gotta do as you do. They're gonna do as you do. So last but certainly not least, sorry, I had to add one more. Move before you're ready. Move. Just move. Take action. Because action builds belief. Remember how I said action cures trauma? Action builds belief. The reality is, the world will agree how you introduce yourself. You don't lack potential. What you're lacking is permission. That ceiling is self created. You are worth the work it takes to become who you're called to be. And with that, breakfast has been served. Have a blessed day. Peace and blessings. Love you guys. Make sure you are following us across all social media platforms and tune in every single Thursday. We are live at 8 a.m. Blessings on blessings. Let's get it. Remember, you are worth the work. Believe in yourself because you are worth more than you think. Thank you guys. Blessings. Much love.